Good morning. Thanks, Camila, so much for that introduction. Really appreciate all that you do for us. So here we are talking about mediocrity. Okay, and yeah, it's grammatically not correct, the title. There's more to life than mediocre. There's a lot of mediocrity in the world, and I'm not entirely convinced music itself deserves that, just whatever we can throw at it, whatever pleases us, all that kind of stuff. To me, I think it deserves a little bit more. It is, after all, the language of emotions, or the language of the soul. The language of the spirit is another one people look at music as. So to me, it kind of deserves a little bit more than just plain old, there you go, same as everything else kind of thing, not thinking much about it. This comes from the fact that many musicians, particularly those who are involved in their local communities, they strive for a good product, a good experience, a good whatever. So they strive for excellence in both the processes and the products and the way they do things, not just the output of what it is that they do. As long as it is, kind of related somehow to the goals of both the individual musician, an audience member, as well as the organization or the audience or the community at large. That comes from Lee Higgins in his book Community Music in Theory and Practice. Is that's one of the characteristics, one of the traits that makes the music environment, if you like, so special, is that we do strive for excellence on an individual level and at a broader level as well. So I wanted to introduce to you this idea that being mediocre, being average, being normal, it's just, it doesn't actually do anything for anyone. And how can you share music, this language, with anybody? Because you need two people. We've already explored that in other sessions. How can you share this language of emotions with other people when it doesn't have excellence? You may remember Tom Peters years ago, 40 years ago now. He wrote that book In Search of Excellence, and his life's theme is still built not necessarily around that, but his book Reimagine from just about 10, 15 years ago, kind of built on top of that, because it's still an issue. We do settle for less, and I really don't like that. What I do like is what Marie Forleo said. If you don't know Marie, she helps female business owners build really profitable businesses. And what she said, I really like. Are you here because you want to be mediocre? Because mediocre sucks, does it not? We want to be world class. I love that quote, and I think, to be perfectly honest with you, there is nothing irrelevant about that, about anything that we do. Some people call it high standards. Excellence is high standards. Whatever it is, it's doing our best. Not perfect, not perfectionism, but doing our best. Because being mediocre, being the normal run of the bunch, doesn't mean anything. So there is a drive here to show excellence, to find excellence. So we're going to explore three things today where we can actually do that in our community. Whether we are full-time musicians, whether we're full-time audience members, whether we are part-time musicians or part-time audience members, administrators, just little fans on the side who've never experienced music before, it doesn't really matter. We're going to look at three different things that will help us not be mediocre anymore in anything that we do, particularly music. All right, so we can actually produce something that impacts people's lives. That's why we do this. We have this language. We want to share it with other people. We want to share it with our circles of influence. The Dunedin Music Society gives you opportunities to do just that. Share your music with your circles of influence. As I said, it doesn't matter if you are a performer or a listener. Still participating, you can still share that music with your circles of influence. So the first thing I think worth concentrating on is actually the process. Excellence in music in the process. That basically means the way that we actually do things. And if you have any questions about mediocrity, about excellence, about perfectionism, go ahead and put them in the comments. Okay, and we'll try and address those. If not during this session, then certainly during this following week. So if anything pops to mind, go ahead and put something in the comments. I think people are already telling us what they're doing for breakfast. I'm glad you asked that, Camila. So I see scrambled eggs. I see see continental breakfast. Anything else that you're having for breakfast today, or had before, or will have in a moment? Let us know in there. But we're talking about excellence in whatever we do, particularly in the process of music. For example, we want to create experiences that are memorable. That's something to aim for. There's no point in just entertaining for the moment's sake and then being done with it. If you think about anything musical that you've been involved with that you remember, that's what we aim for, is a memorable experience. Every single time you attend a concert and you bring somebody with you, hopefully that will be a memorable experience. Every time you step on stage to sing or to play, hopefully that will be a memorable experience. And if it's not, it's kind of up to you to make it memorable. Now, it would be advisable to make it memorable for the right reasons, and you don't want to suddenly jump and scream and make it just distract everybody from what's going on, particularly if it's a nice quiet piece of music. But the actual emotion, the actual thing itself, the actual music that we're trying to communicate, that we're trying to share with other people, let it impact them. Get to the point where you get those goosebumps. Those goosebumps, those good chills, the hairs on the back of the neck sticking up. Those experiences are so rare these days. Music's kind of the only place left that we can do that. So every time you rehearse or you attend a performance, let's look for those opportunities and make them memorable. Something else about the process, the way you do it, is to actually take action, to actually do things, not just want things, but to implement them. And yeah, it's true. If you ever have an idea about something, usually you're going to end up implementing that idea. And for some peculiar reason, we shy away from that. I think it's because of the fear of failure or fear of being ridiculed or something, which is such a shame. There are so many opportunities to make our world a better place through live music that you can help with. So take that action. Ask somebody, do something, show somebody, all that kind of stuff. People who pursue excellence in the process of sharing music with people actually do so by taking action. And they do it in a culture, in an environment that doesn't come up with excuses. The culture doesn't come up with reasons why you can't do something or why something didn't happen the way you wanted it to. Performers, musicians, audiences, administrators, I would even say perhaps even businesses and organizations out in the community, they basically survive in a blame-free culture. They don't blame other people or other things or their circumstances. They just get on with it. That's what excellence looks like. Now, if you are okay with mediocrity and you don't want to be excellent, you don't want to be memorable, that kind of thing, then that's fine. You can choose to actually go ahead and blame other people, but there's no one to blame other than yourself. We've explored that before. It's like the comparison trap. The only person you should be comparing yourself to is yourself, nobody else. Keeping up with the Joneses, forget it. But comparing yourself to yourself is where excellence comes from. As long as you are a better person today than you were yesterday, as long as you are a better performer today than you were yesterday, as long as you are a better audience member than you were yesterday, good. As long as you're a better volunteer today than you were yesterday, that's where excellence comes from. It's by taking action, not blaming your circumstances or anybody else for anything, and creating those memorable experiences. So that's how we find excellence in the actual process of doing music. Now, what about the product itself? What about the outcome? We are looking for excellence in the product itself. That's the actual musical experience. Okay, so one of the things that I find fascinating, particularly about music, is that we play a lot of historical music because it's so darn good, and there's no reason to not play music from the past. Generally in the orchestral world, it's called dead white man music. You know, that's irrelevant. It's darn good music. And it's not just from the European tradition, it's from all over the world. Whatever music is out there that is really, really good, that touches us deeply, that affects us, that is memorable, we should keep playing it. But there's also a chance of getting stuck in that environment. And a lot of orchestras, a lot of bands do get stuck in the past. So one of the things that I wonder about quite often in order to produce an excellent product is not necessarily just incorporating technology, but are we even using Technicolor yet? I mean, are we producing the kind of results, the kind of outcome, the kind of music that produces goosebumps, that produces color? Synesthesia is the name of that one. Are we actually using and implementing the tools and whatever else that are available to us to make it an excellent experience for people, that they want more of it, that they want to bring other people to experience it with them? Have we caught up, or are we stuck in the past? That's a very dangerous thing for a lot of musicians. They get stuck in their high school years, maybe even college, but you get high school music environment. I experienced it here in the US for a couple of years before I went back to England. So I've experienced what it's like, and it can become cultish, and you can get stuck at that point. And then excellence is out the window. Everything is just stuck at that level, and there's no progress, there's no growth, and the community at large suffers as a result. They lose out because we're not pursuing excellence of the output of the outcome. Now, one way to deal with this, to actually help produce an excellent product, an excellent service, an excellent concert, whatever you want to call it, is to actually look at everything that you do as an experiment. We're trying something new. We're trying this, maybe a little tweak. Now, 99% of what you do in a musical experience may be the same as every other time, but what if there's that one little tiny detail? Facing the chair, sitting in a different posture, sitting in a different place in the concert hall if you're listening. There are many, many things that you can do. Maybe parking further away so you have a bit of a walk, so you can chat with whoever you've brought to the concert. After the concert, you can walk back to your car and have a chat with them. Maybe go to dinner beforehand or afterhand. Maybe there's one little tiny detail about producing a wonderful experience in the music environment by changing something, by trying something out. And if it works, keep it. If it doesn't work, don't keep it. But there's no judgment. All right, everything is an experiment. And then the third thing that I love this about excellence in the product, the actual outcome, is to create what is known as a wow project. Wow. You want people to go, wow. And we just literally created and published our new membership brochures. I don't know if you've received one recently. If you haven't, do get in touch with us. We'll send you a membership brochure. But these are fabulous. And so far, just about everyone that I've handed these to has said, wow, this is amazing. This is cool. Looks good. So, that's the kind of experience that we want. That's memorable. We want people to have that kind of reaction, the wow project. In fact, there's even a book out there called The Wow Experience. Again, Tom Peters talks about the wow project. So everything that you do needs to have that kind of response, like, oh, wow, that was cool. The wow project. And then the third thing about there's more to life than being mediocre is not just excellence in the process and the way you do things. It's not just excellence in the product, which is the outcome that you get, but it's actually excellence in ourselves. And this is tough. We are a very external culture, society. We've become very used to reacting to things and not taking responsibility and not looking inwards. We blame other people. And we've already said today, most people who pursue excellence in the process operate in a blame-free culture. So how do we produce excellence in ourselves? Well, one of the things to look out for, to be very, very careful of, and this is something that salespeople are very hot on. I've done quite a bit of sales training over the years. And the primary perspective, the primary approach salespeople take is this: they know that the customer is saying, "What's in it for me?" We are consumers of music, whether we're performing or listening. We are consuming, and we can often get into that syndrome of what's in it for me. And that can be bad. That can get in the way. That's going to prevent us from having and producing excellence in the process and in the product. Because if we're focusing inwards in what do I get out of this, we're no longer thinking about what it is that we're doing and whether or not it's impacting the people around us, because that's the only way that we're going to actually keep doing what we're doing, is that there's somebody else in the room, one other person even, who's going to be impacted by the music that we are sharing. Again, whether you're an audience member or if you're a performer, somebody's going to be affected by this. You want it to be memorable, but if you're focused on what you get out of it, and this happens a lot, particularly in community music, and there are quite a few professional musicians as well, who basically get quite a bit of an ego and make it all about them. And that is not what music is. It is not a take language. It is a giving language, just by its sheer nature. Now, the good news is that when we do that, when we make that focus, when we put it outwards, and we get rid of that "what's in it for me" syndrome, it may take time. Again, this goes against the grain of today's society, our instant culture, but there is reward in waiting for a response, in waiting for that wow project, in waiting for the goosebumps to appear, right? To get excited, to jump up and cheer. The number of times I've been to concerts and they've played Tchaikovsky's Sixth Symphony, the Pathetique, that first movement, the first out of 4 movements, the first movement is so darn exciting. And you literally see people sitting on their hands because apparently they're not allowed to get up and jump and clap and cheer and whistle and that kind of stuff. You know what? Forget it. If you had a good time, let us know. Go ahead and cheer and clap, and you shush the people who are shushing you. And ask them, didn't you enjoy that? Didn't you like that? It's worth waiting for those moments to have a memorable experience, to get that impact. That's how we produce excellence in ourselves, is by waiting, not expecting an instant result. Think of a string player. It takes a long time to produce a nice quality tone, usually on 1, maybe 2 strings, and then you've got to do the other strings as well, and then you've got to use your fingers. So if you wait, if you take your time, it can happen, and it will happen. The reward is in the waiting. And then the third thing about excellence in ourselves is to actually use music as the fundamental form of communication that it is. Why do we communicate? Why do we need to communicate? Connect with people. We want to connect with people on a deeper level than just the surface. All that cliche stuff, don't judge a book by its cover, all that kind of thing. We do it all the time. But our real meaning in life in general is when we connect with people. So by producing excellence in ourselves, we basically find that connection. What we don't want to do is be a showman. Entertainment has lost its meaning. It's lost its thing. It's momentary and it's completely forgettable. If you want to no longer be mediocre, all right, there's more to life than just being mediocre. And there is excellence in the process, excellence in the product, but excellence in yourself is look for the connection with other people rather than be the showman. Look at me, I'm wonderful. Showing off. No, that actually puts people off. But if you actually touch them, if you actually get to them directly in the heart, that builds connection. They want more. They'll come back for more. If you're just very showy, they'll turn up once in a while. They may pay you for it, whatever. But there's no connection there, and you don't build fans and followers and long-term loyalty and all that kind of stuff. There's no community built. So I hope these are very powerful things, this whole excellence thing. is very powerful indeed, and that you see that there is much more to life than being mediocre. You want to create memorable experiences, you want to take action, and you want to do so in a blame-free culture, and that will produce excellence in the process of experiencing live music as an audience member and a performer. You can produce excellence in the product itself, in the actual attendance of a concert or the performance of a concert, by just getting with it, not being stuck in the past, by looking at everything that you do as an experiment, trying a new kind of repertoire, a new kind of genre, and by making everything that you do a wow project. Even going to a concert, you can turn it into a wow project somehow. At a different kind of dinner or different kind of experience, wear something different, whatever you choose. There are so many different ways you can make this somebody else go wow. And then there is excellence in ourselves, getting rid of or being very cautious of the what's in it for me syndrome, because there is reward in the waiting for somebody else to respond, in producing something of excellence through the process, an excellent process, producing an excellent product, waiting for somebody else's response. There is the reward in that part of it. That's what builds connection rather than being a showman. So I hope that impacts you today. I really do. I hope that really helps you. I'm going to hand it back to Camila in just a second, but we've got a whole month of weekend preludes based on there's more than. If you look at the topics coming up, they're all about there's more to something than something. All right, so I hope you like this series. If you do, make sure you give us a thumbs up, add some comments in there, send us an email, write to us, ask for other topics in the future, whatever else.